There we are, another drama-filled weekend in crypto. BTC relatively flat, the alts falling over, rinsing everyone, and now we are witnessing a monster pump out of the market. So BTC sitting at 105K, and it's just had quite a big green candle. Now, is this the start of the next big move? Is this the start of alts starting to go crazy? So guys, I'm going to break this down for you today. We're going to tee up this week properly. I've got tons of altcoin setups for you. I've got BTC. We've got so much going on here on a Sunday. Let's get right into it. And remember, guys, as always, hit that like, hit the bell, and hit the subscribe. And if you don't know who I am, well, I'm always on Banter Plus. Monday to Friday, you can catch me, the Lord of Entry, doing this type of TA Monday to Friday. So you can grab me there. And then I've got my special guest today, 𝗙𝗆. He's in the house. Look at that proper 𝗙𝗆. Pulled him out of Chart Hackers because he's got a couple of setups for us that I thought you guys might want to see. So we're going to talk to Dave now. And then we got Mr. Bulerish in the house. Okay, there he is, looking good. And guys, let's get into this. I mean, it's been an absolutely crazy weekend. We had an altcoin sell-off, and all of a sudden, I went live yesterday on Banter Plus with the Hackers team, and we started getting a little bounce on the altcoins, and we started trading these things, and next thing, everything is ripping again. So what do we do now? I mean, look at this. Virtual is back in the hunt, 21% up, RET 16%. The shit coins are flying again. And I remind you guys, as always, and as I've been doing for the last 2 years while I've been going on about this stuff, when we have a major market recovery, some of the best pumpers are the notorious shit coins, Popcat, Brett, Virtual's obviously new to the entry here, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, Fartcoin, Peppy, all those things, hate memes or love them or whatever, those things pump. So those are the money makers there, but all around nice and green here on Banter Bubbles. And it's been it's been an interesting weekend. I actually want to talk to Dave quickly, and James. What are your thoughts on this last 24 hours? We're going to get into the news now, but what is going on here?
Who first? You go up, Dave.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, typically when you have a bearish Monday, you got a bullish week, and I always pay attention to a weekend and which day actually pumped or which day actually dumped. And so on Friday, I had a session with the chart hackers. I said, look, this weekend, I'd like to see an alt pump, and I speculate that, if we have a dump on Saturday, then it's going to be a pump on Sunday or vice versa. And so now we have it dump first, pump first, and with this bearish news in the midst of things, right? If we get this hardcore sell-off, obviously we're going to wipe out all the weekend retail, trap all the longs here, but that might give us a bullish week. So I'm kind of hopeful and kind of speculating that.
So rinse on a Monday. James, what do you make of this? Well,
it's same as yesterday, really. I mean, this pump was a surprise overnight. This is insane. I woke up to it and went, holy crap, we're back at 106, but we're coming down for the weekend. Asia's going to rinse us. They're going to get entries. That's a given. It's a matter of how bad, and what's the US going to do on this news tomorrow? Because we've had the other good news come out in between that, this is dangerous waters right now. It's hard to say.
Okay, so guys, look, things are pretty wild out there. We've had a beautiful pump in the market, and there's a possibility these Asians are going to open and rinse everything that you've made. Okay, so I have closed a couple of trades. I am sitting in a BTC short of an interesting level. I'm going to take you guys through all of this stuff now, and also what is going on in the market. So let's start with what. This was. I'll forget about this. Bitcoin up 15%. Look at this. Mental health unstable. I mean, that is exactly how we feel. We get abused on the weekend, and then all of a sudden we get a couple of green candles and everyone's laughing again. So guys, the news out there, Moody's has downgraded the US credit rating, citing concerns over increasing US government debt. Okay, so basically the debt to or the debt to GDP ratio is sitting at like 124%. It's not a good look at the moment, and things are definitely messy out there. So if you want to know what's going on, well, for the first time in history, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 letter here, they say Moody's has downgraded the US credit rating. Moody's cites concerned over the US debt levels, with interest on US debt set to hit 30% of revenue by 2035. Okay, they've got a nice little thread for you guys to read if you want to find out a little bit about this type of thing. But essentially, the US is running a ton of debt, and they keep swiping the credit card to pay the debt. So they're using debt to pay with debt, and it sounds like a debt spiral. But now, obviously, the other side of the whole thing is that it's the USA. They've got the main currency and all these things. So is this really a major problem, or isn't it? You know, a downgrade is a downgrade. Yes, sir.
Well, and this isn't news. This whole big thing comes out Friday. What happened? It's not like the debt just all of a sudden blew up on Thursday. This has been there forever. I said yesterday, this is all very suspect. It comes out a Friday afternoon as usual. Yeah, right. It's it comes out. The debt's been here forever.
Total US debt in trillions, James. See on the ledger, Obama 1 and 2. Okay, so S&P became the first agency to downgrade. Then that the Trump first term. Then we got Vegetable 1 puppet master. I'm not sure what this is. But Fitch downgrade US. Okay, over there, and then Moody's puts US rating for review, cuts outlook to negative, and now you can actually see that the debt is stable here at the moment, and now they've concluded their review and downgraded. Who knows what the games are at the moment? Who actually knows? But guys, that was obviously a little bearish sign, and the last time we did see this in the market was James 1st of August. You said 2023. So
it
1st
was
of
Fitch,
August,
not Moody's, but it was a downgrade.
There we go. So the last time we had a downgrade on BTC, there was a little sniff around there. There was a short-term move up, and then there was a dump. Now, obviously, the market conditions were very different back then. And, I mean, it was super bear country as well. So it's difficult to say what happens next. But I think volatility is a key word here. Violence, if we can use.
Well, and then the opposite news that's come out since then that seems to have rescued things. I'm sure you're going to cover that. I won't spoil the news, but...
Yeah, I mean, look, the US guys are now bull posting. Okay, so your man comes out here. He says, I don't put too much credence on Moody's. He says, okay, so he's
total losers.
Total losers. He's done a news interview. Then he's bull posting on China. We'll continue trading with China, especially non-strategic goods, and at lower tariff levels. So this is now coming out as well. Then we had something interesting here with Uncle Donald on the phone. He says he's going to be talking to Vlad, and he's talking to
and NATO.
And NATO. So this is a big thing. This could be super bullish for the market, obviously, guys, as well. So lots of bull posting coming out. But what I did pick up just now was Mario Nolfel dropped this one. Okay, this little banger when BTC hits resistance. Okay,
and that's it. We've got up and down nonstop. This news is so even keel, but that downgrade was pretty bad. I don't see how this other news offset that. But yeah, there's a lot of back and forth with just these things.
So yeah, I mean, guys, the Chinese, they've now dropped duties on 74% on plastics, okay, high performance plastics. So I don't know, is there really a tariff truce going on here? How's the market going to react? Okay, anyway, our job is to look at the charts. Okay, that's what we want to do here, and we can see there's always going to be some kind of drama in the market, some kind of new situation going on. I mean, Donald Trump's even fighting with Walmart, telling them to swallow the tariffs. Okay, you made so much money, you must just pay for the tariffs and take it off the pricing. Okay, so that's the type of sentiment going out. My view still remains the S&P is going to hit all-time highs before we get a monster dump. That is kind of what I'm expecting, and that level is the 6,100 to 6,200 level that I'm watching. So before we get a major drop, that is what I'm looking for. So even if tomorrow things do get a bit messy, a little sell-off, then some pumpage, and I do think we come back. Now, remember the big stuff like 𝗏𝗏𝗏, for example, has closed all his longs, and he's super short. Now, some people think this guy's mad or whatever the story is, but he knows how to short something, and he's piling into NVIDIA at the moment, betting against a lot of stocks as well, and taking tons of profits there. In terms of gold, well, it's going to be interesting to see how gold reacts. Obviously, if the S&P and crypto starts dumping, I'm expecting gold to push a little bit higher. Now, this is one of the gold trades that we dropped last week, or that we were waiting for last week, which we nailed on BTCC, and now we might have a second bite. So if we do get an opportunity here, the second gold trade, number 2, is still on for me, 3,150 down to 3,130. If you want to long some gold with me on BTCC, that is what I'm looking at. And then you can see 12-hour time frame, double bullish divergence prints. So things are definitely turning on for a little bit of a gold move. And now typically, if you're going to have some kind of massive gold move, we're probably going to expect some kind of sell-off in the regular markets. Okay, so I am looking for some kind of gold push here at some point. So let's see if we can grab gold number 2 coming in hot. Now, Barry, I did discuss this on Friday on my show. He is looking to short NVIDIA, but again, he's not looking for an exact DGen entry. He's got a lot of time on his hands, so he doesn't care if NVIDIA starts blowing all-time highs. What he does believe is that there is going to be some major sell-off at some point. So you'll just keep funding that short as it goes down. Now, for the DGens out there looking for some action, well, we're going to have to see how this market behaves tomorrow. But typically, 140 for me is a zone of interest here for NVIDIA. This could be a short area for us to pay attention to. And then obviously we got our big band a little bit higher up here at around the 150s, low 150 region, if anybody wants to play that game. Hello, Sunjiva. Hello, sir. How are you? And it's the Lord of Entry.
What's I was going to say, you've just been upgraded to the king now.
I'm happy with the king. I'm happy with the king. It's a good name. It's a good name. Okay, and then guys, I don't know. Am I going to get absolutely rinsed here? I've been laddering into a Microsoft short over the last couple of days, and obviously my sentiment is we're going to get that pump on the S&P. We're going to reject at all-time highs, and I am looking for some kind of reversal to play out here on Microsoft. Now, just using a couple of simple things here. Yes, sir.
Are you wearing your liquidations undies?
I believe I'm going to need to wear my liquidation shirt if it doesn't
okay,
go.
Something with liquidations on there.
If it doesn't go according to plan, I'm going to get liquidated. Okay, so luckily I'll be able to wear the shirt for that. But in terms of reversals here on Microsoft, you can see we are printing a reversal sign here at the moment on the oscillator, and we've got a bit of mixed results. But typically when we do print these reversals, we do get sell-offs on Microsoft. So I'm literally just using history again and a nice big level to the upside, looking for some bearish divergence to print, and then we should be able to get this thing going on. So I'm sitting on this short in BTCC at the moment. My second order took late on Friday on that little pump that we had on Friday. So we've locked into Microsoft short orders so far, and waiting to see how this goes. Now, remember, guys, I'm talking about a lot of things today. Okay, I'm talking about a lot of things that you're going to see, including Daily Candle. You're going to see things about my accelerator school and a lot of these exchanges that I trade in. Remember, you can find all of that simply in the show description. So just go under the show description there, and you can find me sitting under that region. Okay, you'll find everything floating around down there for you guys. Okay, let's get into the next thing. Where are we? Okay, so there's BTCC. So yeah, here's the daily candle. Anyone who wants some free alpha in your email inbox, literally it's free. Thursdays is the Hackers Day. The whole team charts for you guys, gives you trade setups, market update. You get that every single day in your email inbox. Our day is Thursday. The other traders are doing it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Just sign up for the daily candle. That is sitting there for you guys. Now let's get into lower time frame BTC first, and then we're going to talk some bigger levels. Now, I told hackers just before I went live that BTC has hit the major rejection zone. This is our big short zone that we were looking at recently, and I've taken that BTC short, and you can see why. This, if you guys have been watching me on the show for the last week or so, we've been talking about this as a possible wick fill region, and now we have pushed up and we have filled that wick, and this was a big rejection zone for us, and now we can see BTC is falling over. So currently what we're looking at here, I'm just adjusting my fibs here slowly. Just want to get these levels right for you guys. So in terms of bullish levels now, in terms of reaction zones that you guys can look for on the way down. And remember, if we're going to stay bullish here, we typically just want to print some kind of higher low on BTC, and it has been a weekend, so we can get some kind of messy candle action here, and this can all easily get taken out. So key levels that you want to watch today: 105, 100, call it 105. This could be a reaction zone, so this ties in quite nicely with that horizontal support over there. Then if we do bleed out a little bit more, we've got another really nice level floating around here for you guys, around about 104. So you should get some kind of reaction there. And then I've got the banger, which is lower down, and that is 103,800. That's my banger. I've got a VWAP here. I've got a 618. I've got horizontals. I've got a trend for you guys, and that for me is a high conviction bounce zone. So if BTC is going to sell off now into the Asia session, and we are going to get some blood on the dance floor, 103,800, that's a big level for me. That is where I'd be looking for a little bit of action. Now you can see our oscillators has reversed slightly, but we don't have divergence just yet, so we'll have to monitor this one and see how this plays out here. Okay, but it is starting to reverse here at the moment. But again, if we're going going to get a reversal, you're typically going to get it on one of these 3 levels that I've dropped here for you guys. Now, remember, all these charts that you see go straight into Chart Hackers directly after the show. So if you're in Chart Hackers, you have access to all of the charts. They get updated there for you guys as well. And obviously, I do my market stuff, and the whole amazing team is in there. Did anyone, who of you watched the Chart Hackers live trading last night? We did a live trading session on a Saturday, and we're going to make this a regular thing for Chart Hackers on Banter Plus. So make sure you are subscribed to Banter Plus, have your notifications on, because we can't guarantee what time we're going to go live. So yesterday we went live, and we caught quite a few longs. We got WIF, we got AIXBT, we got 𝗏𝗏. Some of the guys took bonk. I actually missed some of them. We're going to go through that for you guys now. Okay, let's see. I am running a poll. I'm keen to see what you guys are up to over here. And it says, I said, what comes next? All-time high or 103K? And 61% are super bullish here. All-time high, 109, 110. Woo! I don't know, Dave. What do you think about this? Are we too bullish?
Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to start taking some shorts if everyone's bullish.
61%. James.
Not good.
Not good, guys. Not good. Okay, not good. We don't want too bullish, yeah. Everyone must be careful. Okay, everyone must be careful. Okay, look at this BTC falling over here. Let's see. Is the short printing here? Yeah, the short's going green. Okay, it's nice. Okay, so yeah, I feel like I caught just a couple of scraps this weekend. It was absolutely messy out there, and then got some scraps there to the upside. But now we got the short running, so hopefully we'll get some action. Okay, BTC is done. Now, important things that we want to watch, obviously the liquidation heat map, and I want to draw this to your attention, the 7-day, which is obviously an important one for us, and or the 1-week liquidation heat map. Now you can see there's still a lot of liquidity to the upside here. So interestingly, we've got a thick yellow band. These might be the fresh shorters now stepping in, but everything up to 106,700 looks pretty obtainable here to the upside. And then on the weekly, look at this, all the way down. It's sort of evenly balanced on this weekly down to about 100K. So that looks interesting. And then on the 24-hour, if we want to see what is going on currently this weekend, once again, typical weekend type range. Look at that, 104 in play and everything down to about 102, and nice one here at 103. Okay, interesting here to the downside. So interesting mix, and just remember, we use these as targets for the market makers. They can come and chase these areas, and if we have nice confluence on our charts, and I like to follow the 1-hour chart or the 2-hour chart, if we got nice confluence of levels, we can use that as an area for us to look for longs or shorts in those types of zones. Okay, let's look at altcoins now, and this has been working very nicely for us, this 4-hour RSI heat map, and you can see all these altcoins are now back sort of in the neutral territory. Dave, why don't you check FXS? This could be a short for us. Dave, will you just chart that for us quickly? And we're gonna get the best shorter I know onto this quickly, because you can see this FXS is a bit of a straggler. So we're going to get Dave to look at that for us there. But in terms of the other altcoins at the moment, sitting in neutral territory, some of them, the average is 53. So we're just above neutral. That could be considered a little bit bullish there if we start holding up above those zones. But remember, we like it when it's super overbought or super oversold, when everybody's too bullish or everybody's too fearful. That is where we get some of the best moves in the market. Now, talking about altcoins, one of the first things we need to focus on, guys, obviously is dominance. And this so far is actually following the plan that I gave on that live trading show or the live trading session last night. So we were looking at a couple of things, and we keep dominance as simple as possible. You use rejection zones on dominance for bounce zones on alt. So whenever you push into a resistance zone, these are typically where you can start looking for longs on altcoins at those types of zones, okay, when you're getting a rejection on dominance. So right now you can see we're fighting the 63.7%. That is a typical rejection zone. So you might find that alts are dropping onto levels now, and we are moving into a potential bounce zone on altcoins. If dominance pushes through this region, your next altcoin bounce zone for me is going to be 64.15%. That is where I expect we're going to get a nice run then on the altcoin. So keep it really simple. Just follow the big resistance zones, and you can see right now dominance pushing up. So yesterday we were saying possible pump into that zone, little rejection, then a little bounce for sell-off into Asia, and then one of these should give you that long on these altcoins. So, you know, I'm looking at this bounce now. Ideally, what I want to see is obviously some higher lows now on these alts. We've seen a lot of these altcoins break trends, and it's fine. Get a little sell-off. Don't panic about that stuff. If it's going to stay bullish, these alts are typically going to hold 618s or 0.5s or 382. So we're going to go through quite a lot of altcoins for you guys, and we're going to look for some bullback areas. Okay, so bullish pullback zones for you guys that could potentially help you leading into Monday if we do get a little dip. Now, another market indicator for me is the USDT dominance marker that we are watching at the moment. Let's just clean this filthy chart up here. I mean, terrible, excuse the mess. And let's just highlight what we are looking at the moment. So USDT dominance is obviously it's tether in the market. So if money is flowing out of Bitcoin and altcoins and people are getting nervous, they tend to buy tether. So this thing then will start moving higher. If this thing is moving lower, it tells us that money is flowing into the market. So we obviously want to see tether or USDT dominance trending down. We want this thing coming down as hard as possible. And you can see right now, all these moves we've had over the last couple of days hasn't done much to USDT dominance. We're chopping around the 200-day moving average, which is telling me we're gearing up for quite a big move. Now, the last time we saw chop like this, I remember things were relatively boring in the market, chop, 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 and then we had a monster move there, and that obviously was the market waking up and the market pumping. So the bull in me wants to see this thing absolutely dump for the next monster move, and that will give us an alt run, and people are going to scream alt season and all those types of things again if we do get that move. But right now, looking like a nice bear flag, and this could obviously potentially just start dropping lower for us. That would be ideal. Okay, and where's my bulls again? Let's see, 60%. Okay, they're listening, guys. Dave, they're listening. They're dropping the votes. Okay, the votes are going down. Okay, less bullish at the moment. So, okay, you can see BTC, first reaction here at this 105. You can see why I call these things reaction zones. Why are they reaction zones? Because the price drops into these areas and they tend to put the brakes on. And these are levels where you can make rational decisions. I actually call them the hot zones. And if you guys want to learn about it, my accelerator course is live. And basically, it's a collection of short, concise videos for you guys, and my workshop is coming in hot on Tuesday. I'm going to do a live workshop with everybody who's part of the accelerator course. Very short, simple way to learn some basic TA, understand hot zones, and understand how I tie it in with all these magical indicators that I use. So remember, that accelerator course is in the show description for you guys, and you can go jump in there whenever you want. And obviously, one of the things I'm talking about is how to get a funded account. Now, you're looking at 2 funded accounts here that I've achieved by going through the Bitfunded challenges, and workshop 2 I'm going to cover exclusively for those guys doing the accelerator course on how I passed those challenges. And I've also got Dave to get involved in Bitfunded, and he's busy running through one at the moment. And how's that going for you at the moment there, sir?
Good. I'm about 33% of the way there for challenge 1.
Okay,
haven't lost
nice.
the trade yet, and just long in those meme coins.
Long in the meme coins, guys. You go for the money makers. Okay, so remember, Bitfunded is a prop funded trading. So the first account is the demo account. You make 8%, you move to phase 2, you make 5%, then you get a real money funded account. Okay, so that's what you're looking at over here. And I actually passed 3 of these accounts, but I got rinsed in one of those market meltdowns on the 3rd one. So we got 2 left here ready to go. Okay, let's get into altcoins and important stuff. Now, Ali Charts is giving us an important level based on his on-chain data, and that's telling us $2,400 is a big level for ETH to hold. Now, interestingly, I like this tweet because it actually ties in with my levels that I am using at the moment. Look at that. Okay, so 2,410 for me is our first big reaction zone for ETH. And you can see we are still sitting in this bearish head and shoulders at the moment. And if there's going to be a reaction for me, that's the first zone of interest. So 2,400 is what I'm watching for ETH there, guys. Then if we do drop a little bit lower, wow, we're actually dropping quite a bit here, guys. These alts are shitting the bed. They're shitting the bed.
They are. It's time.
Weekend hunting. Okay, maybe. Guys, I must tell you, during the live trading show yesterday, and I'm going to cover some of these alts now, I was concerned that some of them hadn't dropped to their main levels. They were bouncing off so-so levels. You're going to see it in Bonk. You're going to see it in Fartcoin. You're going to see in a lot of these coins today, and then you're going to understand what I'm talking about. So 2,400 for ETH, big level there for me. If we do start losing levels, guys, the next banger for me is got to be 2,050. Now that is horrendous. I mean, we don't really want to go that dark and that deep, but 2,050 is the big one there to the downside for me. But let's get through 2.4 first. Then we'll carry on from there. Now, in terms of Sol, continues to outperform all other chains in daily active addresses and transactions. And it's a typical thing for Sol to really hold strong and do what it's doing at the moment when we've got so much meme coin action on the Sol network. Okay, so it always makes a lot of sense that this stuff is going on. And geez, nice rejection here, guys. Wow. Okay. Now, Sol falling over and again, looking like ETH at the moment. What have we got here? Typical head and shoulders now in play. We've maybe printed that right shoulder. So in terms of levels that I've been watching all week, what I wanted to see here out of this the current situation was bounce on each of these fibs and some kind of move lower. So I was still anticipating something like that to play out this weekend before we got this this amazing pump out of the market. So in terms of big levels for me for Sol, 163, 158 down to 150, 154. Make a lot of sense to me. So 158 down to 154 is the main level. Then we've obviously got this zone over here that we can watch now, 163, that type of region over there for you guys. Okay, so keep your eyes on that area for Sol, and we might get our 158. Jeez, this candle is red, guys. What is going on here? Inverse bull, okay? Inverse bull all day. Okay, let's see. Oh my god, I'm gonna get rinsed now on Sol. So let's see the damage here. Okay, now it's falling over. I'm $68,000 long here on L-Bank at the moment. And they're coming for me. Look at this. They're coming to end me here at the moment. So we're just going to hold this thing for now. Let's see if Sol's going to hold the levels. The big one for me, obviously, that I want to hold is that large one that I showed you guys there, 158 to 155. We want to see that one hold. Anything else until then is just a little bit of noise, okay? And no dip, dude, all ripping, says nobody. Was that at the start of the show? Was that at the start of the show? What's going on? Is he saying it now? Is it ripping down? Okay, let's see, do a Bitcoin update. Urgent Bitcoin update here. Let's see where we are. Fucking going straight to hell. Okay, this is the shortest printing here. Jesus. Okay, nice. Okay, fine. If that's how they want to do things. Okay, now the next one I've got for you guys is 𝗬𝗰. 𝗬𝗰 looks ready to pull back with the TD sequential indicator presenting a sell signal on the 3-day chart according to alley charts. Okay, now interesting to me, and this looks the same on many altcoins. We did pick up that bearish head and shoulders, but we do have some bull action on a lot of these tokens, and they all actually look pretty similar here. So I'm not getting too stressed about where these are at the moment. In terms of the big levels that we've been watching over the last couple of days and tracking on my show, the big levels for you guys, 3.71, and we've got the big one here at 3.37 down to 3.2. Anywhere in that region is the big banger here for us. But unfortunately, that could be the macro or the major head and shoulders that we are going to be looking at there on 𝗬𝗰. So right now, all you need to worry about, 3.7, watch that area, maybe a wick to 3.57. But 3.7 for me, guys, that's the big one. And then the banger is this bottom zone that I've highlighted here for you guys. I'll make sure this chart is in Chart Hackers there for you guys. So nothing to worry about just yet in terms of key levels on 𝗬𝗰. Don't panic just yet. The big bounce zone is still lower down. Okay, so 𝗬𝗰 covered, and then 𝗬𝗰 on a degen basis. So if you are looking for a degen play, and what I wanted to cater for you guys today obviously is some of the higher time frame stuff, and then I've got these degen setups for you if you want to sniff around and look for some action. Obviously the market is falling over a lot quicker than we'd like it to when we're hunting for these types of zones. But in terms of areas, I have broken 𝗬𝗰 down into a 1 hour situation for you on a degen basis. Now remember, the big zone I've highlighted for you on the previous chart is this main area at the bottom, and that is the one we don't want to lose. That is the big big support level. Remember, that's the big one for us. And then if you want to be degen and you want to play degen games, what you can do is then start dialing in and start looking for scalps in these types of zones. So in terms of this degen play, I would say we should get a bounce here. Okay, if we don't get a bounce here in this region, your next banger is going to be at that level there at 3.7. So look for a bounce 3.77. Look for wow, this is amazing. What is going on here, James? This market is dumping. So look for a bounce here, 3.77, and then a little bit lower down, we've got that 3.7 base. That is your main level that you are going to play with at the moment. But when things drop this fast, these oscillators sometimes take a little bit longer to reset. So just be careful with how you're playing that. You can see this oscillator still has got quite a long way down to go still. Okay, so 𝗬𝗎, guys, oh, geez, this market's rough. Okay, let's take a look at Launchcoin. This was an interesting one, and we've been tracking this one over the last couple of days. And anyone on the show last week, you know that I was looking for this Launchcoin dump from here, and we were looking for entries at 151. Now, it front ran my zone, unfortunately, and now we have to sit back and wait. So interestingly, I mean, this thing is a bit of a pumper, though. It did pump 71%, but it front ran that area. So in terms of degen zones for you on Launchcoin, anybody looking for Launchcoin action, you can see a little bit bearish there. But in terms of where this thing can bounce for you, I would say possible longs, 2037. 2037, and then your backup long zone, guys, is going to be that 151 that we still haven't tapped yet. So 2037, and then your backup zone at 151. Most likely bounce zones there for me on Launchcoin. Okay, so look for that to play out there. You can see a little bit bearish there at the moment. Then let's talk. Well, let's get Dave out, and I've got Shitcoin Casino coming in hot for you guys as well. And the Shitcoin Casino is basically when we go through some of these charts quite quickly. Davey, what do you got, bro? Have you got that FXS? Or
yes, I actually just entered the short. It's like freaking kind of a banger, I think.
Okay, let's go. I'm going to take this short right now. I'll take it on Blowfin.
Yeah, no, look, guys. So look, I've got a fib pulled from the high to the low. And you can see that we have a 786 retracement. Those are always better than 618 retracements. But what's interesting here is on the daily, we have a bearish divergence with a blue reversal dot, and essentially all the higher time frames have overbought and just it's just crazy. Like here's an overbought print on the 10-hour. It's high on the 8, the 6-hour. It's up there on the 6. On the 4, so not only higher time frames but the midterm time frames as well. So this seems like a banging short. I just entered it right now. We'll see how we go. Again, the market, how is Asia going to play it when they open it? Just be aware of some kind of stop, hunt, wink. And I would say that our target right away is going to be the 382, which is going to give us a level at $3.05. So from where we're at now, 382 is going to be a 20% move. Obviously, that's kind of a swing. So, there's a general rule that every 5%, 6%, pay yourself, right? So maybe at 361, take some profits, take a little bit off the board, because again, it could just be a 382 bounce. So, but ultimately, I think if we do get a proper flush tomorrow, this is kind of the hot zone here, right? We've got anchor VWAP, point of control, 200 AMA, 618, right? If we can make our way here, this could be a pretty big play here. So 36%. So
Dave, just give us clear entry points here for us. So I've market opened a short now on Blowfin on FXS, and I've got my first sell in. Now, where's my next backup level? Where's my next sell zone?
Yeah, so look, I'm entered as well. Look, you can also see there's a point of control here. So how much of a pump is this, right? So, be careful with your leverage here. I mean, just anticipate. I always anticipate worst case scenario of an extra pump here. Again, it's overbought across the board, but I would say set another order at 399, just because we could have a double top situation.
And then where should I exit if it goes against me?
And then I would say the 786, right? Let's respect the fibs here. If we get a candle close above 410, a 4-hour candle close above 410, I would say consider cutting this position here. But you could even do low leverage buffering strategy, where just multiple sizes or whatever, and essentially catch the big move. Again, all the oscillators are staying overbought everywhere, and we're not looking for anything crazy, but if we get even at least a 10% pullback, That's still a nice, very nice profits, right? And that's just it's a very small move in the grand scheme of things, right? This is a potential 36% move. So, have a strategy behind it. Always anticipate worst case scenario, but I think respecting the 786 fib here, I think.
Okay, nice. Let me just show the guys what I've done here. So I'm going to trade this one on 𝗏𝗏. And thanks to 𝗏𝗆𝗆 yesterday on that live trading show, gave us a whiff long, absolutely smashed that. And thanks to Dave, he gave us a partial short on 𝗏𝗏 that I took on Friday. So thanks, bro, another banger. And now FXS. Okay, so I've market sold here on FXS. Then I've got my backup sell entry at 3.99. You can see there it is on the chart. Now I've put in a hard stop at 4.113. But the key here and the important thing here is if you are able to watch these things happen live, some of the best stop losses can be candle closes. So whatever time frame you are trading your altcoin on, try and stick to a candle close on that particular time frame. So that is obviously because they do stop hunts and they push up and they pump down and all these types of things. And sometimes they just come and grab these stops and end you, and then they dump it. Okay, so Dave, any other thoughts on stop hunts and closing candles and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, we experienced it on Spell. Like I gave a Spell setup last Sunday. Somebody asked for an update on Tuesday. We took the trade on Tuesday. There was like a 13% pump, and essentially it was a stop hunt, right? And there was no 4-hour candle close above the stop loss level I gave, and we're in massive profits right now on Spell. So again, the market makers, they're going to play their games. You got to know how to play their games, and essentially low leverage multiple positions is like the guaranteed, I can't say guaranteed, but more often than not, a play that will get you into profits, right? If you start going 10x, 20x, and you start getting greedy, you're going to get liquidated, right?
Liquidated, bro. Lickies. Now, in terms of the partial short, I saw they were asking for an update. I've closed that partial short. Dave, are you still in it? What are you doing?
I'm still in it, yeah. And I can actually show you guys. It actually came into a 618 retest, bearish order block, right? So I was trying to teach all the guys this week about when you're looking at shorter time frames, right? You take a look at the move that happened, right? So I was calling the short up here on Friday, and if you can see here, I've got a fib that's pulled from the top to the bottom here, right? Just on the move, right? And you can see that it came right into the hacker zone, bearish order block, and now I'm tracking this downtrend here. So this was an adding opportunity, anchored VWAP from the lows, kind of looking for something like this still on Parcel. Now you can see that there's a bullish order block here and an anchored VWAP. This is where I would start to really scale out of the position.
Okay, very nice, bro. Very nice. Yeah. I see this BTC has dropped straight into the pocket here. My God, look at this, guys. Look at this. Straight into the zone. They didn't fuck around today. Look at that. Bang. Into that. Straight into that 103,800. Look at that, guys. Bang into that area. So we might get another visit. So those of you watching what's going on, yeah, that was a proper weekend flush out. Welcome to trading shit coins on a weekend. Okay, and here we are. So look out for another dip maybe into that area. These wicks, they always come, and they might come and fill this wick there, and then it's going to be an easy ride back up. Remember, they're going to grab that liquidity, and then we might be able to go back down again. Okay, so that's your BTC fun on a weekend. Okay, let's go. Dave, you've got a couple of others here. Let me cover virtual quickly because I'm hoping it's gonna hold my zone. I'm hoping, and then I want to see what long Dave has got for us as well. So in terms of virtual, this was an absolute ripper. And when I say to you guys that yesterday on that live trading session, I wanted to see a little bit lower on some of these altcoins, and I was quite disappointed that they didn't drop into the big zones. The first example I've got for you is this virtual. Now, virtual just front ran my 618 by a drop or two. Okay, so it wasn't ideal that we didn't get the exact zone there. I love to drop into these areas and really feel like we got the value there in the entry. So for me, I was looking for another 2 or 3%. Maybe I was being a little bit greedy, but in terms of that, possibly it can still come back there. So in terms of a bullish situation on virtual, anybody sitting in virtual at the moment, you can see I am in a virtual small position at the moment. We are now back into our previous range low. Okay, so we have reclaimed that. So if we are going to stay bullish, all we want to do is typically see virtual remain in that range. So how do we do that? Well, we look for confluence in some good areas, and you can see I'm just pulling my fibs from the lows to the highs, and all I typically want to do is see virtual hold that 1.82 region and then start pushing a little bit higher to the upside. If it doesn't hold that region, guys, it's very simple. We are turning bearish again, and we're going to start hunting levels lower down. So it's as simple as that. And 1.82, look for it to hold there. That's a bullish buy zone there for me, down to 1.82. If that area fails, get new undies, okay? Get your lickies out, okay? Because then we're going to come back down. They're going to send us a little bit lower down there on virtual. Okay, so I'm going to add, okay, on this trade that I'm sitting in here, a virtual, where is it there? I'm going to add when we drop into that zone. You can see I only got a small size on that thing, so I'm waiting for it to drop into that area. I'm going to add some more, and let's see if that is going to play out for us, okay? And did he catch the short? Did Jay catch the short there earlier today? Ooh, looks like he did. Must be an absolute banger. There we go. Chaos says Trader J is absolute fire. Guys, if you want some Trader J action, he's sitting in Hackers waiting for you, okay? Come to Papa. He's sitting there in the region. And now, normal day in the crypto market, guys. I mean, if we were ever going to play this video, I mean, I think it's fair. If we were ever going to play this clip, this is it, okay? This is it. Bro, I think this coin is on. This is just
funny and brutal
right
at the same time.
そして必死の形相。さすが陸上十種競技も。
This is the best anti-smoking ad ever.
Oh my God. Good art, guys. No, man, I can't. Okay, enough of this shit. But that is basically the
That
weekend.
smoking room is everybody that took longs about an hour ago right now.
Guys, if you long the top, let us know in the comments, okay? If you long the top, let us know in the comments. We've all done that before.
It's happened to all of us.
Let us know. We've all done it. Just let us know in the comments if you long the top, okay? Because, I mean, yeah, maybe that person needs a licky shirt. Okay, let's go. Let's talk Peppy. And just in terms of some basic TA, guys, and this is how you can figure out, take profit zones and things like that. And Peppy, look at this, dropping into a 618 region, bang, and it's now rejecting in the zone. Now, naturally, any bulls out there, you want to see the higher lows. You want to see bullish zones hold. So anybody trading Peppy at the moment, like me, okay, I mean, I feel like I got scraps on Peppy. Where's my entry? 130. Let's see. I'll tell you exactly how I'm going to play this. Peppy. Let's see. 130. So yeah, if we close under this VWAP, I'm gonna cut. Okay, so I'm gonna cut under that 1.3. There we go, 130. So I want to close somewhere in that area here on Peppy, and then look for that bounce. And we do have a backup zone lower down. That is 128. 128 is what you're going to be watching. Remember this from last week on my show, the 200-day MA. That is a big level there for us, tied in with 618. So 128 on Peppy there. 128 is what you're going to be watching. You want to hold that for the higher low. Okay, so keep it simple. And then for me, under 131, it looks like trouble. Okay, you can see why. And I've been trying to grow this position, and now my average entry is sitting there. Okay, so you can see there's a tight stop sitting there. 1296 is where my current stop loss is. If it does start dropping a little bit lower down, then we might grab that entry again somewhere in that region. But we'll wait and see how that is going to play out there for us. Okay, so that is Peppy. Dave, what longs do you have for me here? What's floating around there?
I've got a 𝗖𝗍, I've got a 𝗫𝗶𝗵. One's degen, one's a little bit safer.
Give us both. I mean, you pitched it so well. Now I'm fucking intrigued. Now I want to see both.
Okay.
I mean, I need them. Okay, let's go.
All right, let's go. So 𝗖𝗍, I think this has kind of been a sleeper. I think there's a lot of room to the upside. Again, the market's kind of in the shenanigan situation, but I really like how it's respecting this rising trend. We've got an anchored VWAP from the lows here. I've got a point of control, 50-day MA. I love to see all these things happening right below a trend line, right? So I've got a 3-2 fib pull as well from the low to the high. And I've got this level identified. You can see that the 3-2 is already bounced and just really paying attention to how the market's open. I'm not in the long yet, but based on like what Asia does, if we kind of hold this here and this trend line, then I think this is the trigger to enter the long. And how high could this go? I think the optimistic view could be the 200 AMA, which we've seen a lot of tokens hit that already. But value area high on the fixed range pull is also very realistic. You can also see there's a bearish order block here, and looking at a decent little 26% move here. So as far as the entry goes, guys, I would say that you can start laddering in at 0.222. Okay, so this is on the radar. I'm not in the long just yet, but 0.22 is basically right here, right? So we're almost there. Another 2% drop would take us there. And then I would say all the way down to 0.216. So let me kind of draw this here for y'all. This little zone here is the entry box. Okay, final stop loss, I would say loss of trend, right? We lose the trend line. It's easy invalidation. For example, for those of you guys that were tuned in on the Friday session I did with the chart hackers, there was a couple longs that were on the trend. They lost it. I cut the trade, and some of those are actually looking like shorts now, right? So if you see something like this is probably headed for lower levels, right? So the trend line is the key here in this idea. Pay attention. So draw that trend line from the low. You can see that there is a second touch here, third touch here, looking for that fourth touch here in the entry box. Okay, so it's coming in, and I did like the little rally that we saw this weekend, right? So we had a nice little 8% pump, and looking for something like that again, whether it's here, here.
So that chart is going to be in Chart Hackers for you guys. Now, where's the DJ play?
DJ play, Mavia. Okay, we've been talking about this one. I haven't entered the trade. But on the daily time frame, on the 12-hour, we're seeing bullish order blocks. There's a couple trend lines that I've been trying to track here. So the higher time frame is this one here from the all-time lows. Kind of tracking this here with this bullish order block here. But also on kind of taking the magnifying glass, we have this fixed range pull. I've got a fib that's pulled from the low to the high, and we have a 786 fib here as well. So I like this. I like how we're kind of holding this region here, if you will. And you can see that we're on a bullish order block as well on the 4-hour. So you got midterm time frame bullish order blocks and also higher time frame bullish order blocks. And you can see that price action pretty much touched it and bounced really nicely. And we have not only came inside the fixed range pull, but we're currently retesting value area low, right? So we're kind of in the zone now. I've got a little starter position here, and I'm really looking to see this be respected here. There's also speculation that gaming could have some kind of run next week. I was talking to Trader J about that, and so we're kind of antsy and anticipating some really nice long entries for some of these gaming narratives. But as far as the short term goes, guys, we are in this triangle formation, right? So I've got a trend line drawn from the 4th of April, second touch here on the 25th of April, and then we have a third touch here on the 13th of May. So we could very simply have something like this bounce into this territory, and that could be the stops, right? That could be a realistic thing, and we could essentially round trip here as well, right? But the idea here is we break trend, we retest, and we go for some serious targets.
Okay, and we've got 𝗏𝗏𝗏 in the chats watching 3-minute candles. Proper DJ. And he needs that Dave shirt, actually. Okay, Dave, those are 2 bangers, bro. Thank you. Okay, let's run through. You're going to catch Dave. Well, me and Dave do a Chart Hackers Sunday banger Zoom. So we're going to tee up the week now in a chilled manner. We're going to listen to some of his beats and those things. I'm going to run through a few more charts for you guys quickly. Dave, you going to hang? Or you got time? Are you bouncing?
Hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, hang, bro. Hang. Okay, so we're getting a peppy bounce here on our 382. Remember, guys, reaction zones. There we go, 382 on VWAP, giving it a bounce for now. Okay, so that's a good start. Let's talk Link. And this is an interesting one. Obviously, Link dropped into a major zone that I've been covering for probably a week or two. Okay, and there were 2 big zones for Link. The first one was 16.1. We had a small reaction there. And then the bigger one was this 15 region, which we've now dropped into on Link. Obviously, a monster rejection now. But what I like at the moment, I can see these oscillators are getting ready to start reversing. So for me, 15 is where we're going to get a reversal on Link, or most likely if they're going to take us to next levels, it's going to be at 14, guys. So be prepped. 15 for Link, and 14 make the most sense to me at the moment. I think at 14 we get a super strong bounce, and then we start ripping into that week. So if we drop into 14 by Monday, Tuesday, I think that's a good buy zone. So 15 zone 1 and 14 zone 2 on Link make a lot of sense to me. And then just in terms of hackers, some of the stuff going on there, this is just my channel in hackers. So I actually told the guys on Saturday, I said, here's a high risk, mentally disturbed weekend bounce play, okay, on 𝗬𝗏. And we gave them that trade set up there. And then obviously we update as we go. And I told the guys before there was a dump, okay, before the market dumped, I said, I'm closing 𝗬𝗏 right here. And before the market dumped, I said, danger zone for BTC. We are in the major big first short zone from all-time high, before all-time high that I've been talking about. So if you're in chart hackers, you wouldn't have been caught with your pants around your ankles because Uncle would have told you that we're in a danger zone there. Okay. And obviously Jay and Panda and everyone else in there that are doing amazing shit. Okay. Now let's talk my bot trade. So you guys saw last week on the show, I wanted to take on David Tech. And I've loaded my 𝗬𝗍 account with $5,000, and I believe that I can beat his bot with one big trade. And I believe I'm going to do that using bonk. So that is my current plan. And I've got some preset bonk orders here on 𝗬𝗍 at the moment. I put $5,000 in my account, and I've now got preset orders sitting here now, and I've adjusted them slightly. So 177, 167, and 160 are the areas that I'm looking to grab some buys on bonk. Why is that interesting to me? So a couple of reasons. This is bonk on the 2-hour time frame. Now, again, not saying we are going to get it, but just like I showed you on virtual, and I'm going to show you on Fartcoin, we've actually avoided this weekend dropping into these major areas. Now, when I see these types of big fib zones and things like that, I love to see the token get comfortable on that area and then start sending. Now, for some reason, they held it. They front ran that zone this weekend. Okay, so I'm not saying, I'm not ruling out the possibility that bonk comes back down into that zone. So that is why I'm looking at that area for my first entry. And then you can see that whole cluster. I've got entries all the way down into that zone because I'm expecting quite a big bounce by the time we get into that bottom region. So it's kind of a swing play for me on bonk. If it is going to play out, that is what I'm hunting. Now, if it doesn't work out and starts ripping, I'm going to have to look for another reversal, long or short, that I'm going to try and take those bots on with. So we'll see. If the market turns super bullish, I'm going to find a short that we can ladder into and then let that one fall over. Okay, so that is my plan at the moment. So no changes there in terms of how I'm looking at bonk. Just quite interesting. We saw a lot of these altcoins front running those zones. Brett didn't actually, funny enough. Here's Brett on the 4-hour. Brett gave us a 618. Look at that. Bang into the 618 at 6342. Very simple TA getting used here, guys. 6342. And now, if you want to stay bullish on Brett, very, very simple. I think you can't be clearer now on a chart between the bulls and the bears. And for me, that's that 618 here. So keep it very simple. Anything from 70 down to say 67, that's a must hold zone. Okay, you want to see that area hold for us there, and then we'll stay bullish on Brett. So 70 down to say 67 makes a lot of sense to me there on Brett. Nice weekend pump. Look, it's fair that it's come back down. I don't think we could have held on to that hope that it could have gone much better than that. Then in terms of PopCat, we're in our first bullish zone. Shall we take a scalp here, Dave? You want to take a scalp?
If you take it, I'm taking it.
Fuck it. Let's take a scalp here. PopCat's dropped into our first support zone here. Okay, I'm going to have a little go here. Let's go on poppies here. Let's go on 𝗏𝗏𝗱𝗏 here. And let's trade some poppies. Okay, little PopCat scalp zone here. Okay, there we go. So I've just taken a market buy here. I'm going to cut it just under that. So I'm going to put a hard stop, 4366. Okay, so 4366. Let's just plug that in. 0.4366. Okay, so we're doing a little bit of a degen play here. Okay, so we're taking chances here, but we've just had a monster sell-off in the market, and now we're bouncing. So we're bouncing at 44. So use that area, jumped in, and just looking for a little move higher. Let's see what happens next. You might see just a short-term pump, and then they come back down, and they start hitting zones. So I want to just remind you guys the big zones that I spoke about that we missed on bonk, for example. We've done the same here for me on PopCat. We didn't hit our big 786 that I wanted to see. This was this 406 zone. So I would love if we get a chance here at 406 Monday, something like that. That could make sense for us there, and that could be a little area. So just see how that goes. But 406 is my first sort of big zone here on Popcat. So not expecting a massive pump here out of this thing, maybe just a little squeezy bounce here on the way back up, and then they send it back down. So 406 is the big one for me on Fartcoin at the moment. Then Popcat, then Fartcoin. Okay, we also front ran the zone. Look at this, Dave. Another one missed. 1.13. Just front ran that area. My alarm was sitting there waiting. Okay, it was going to wake me up in the middle of the night, and it didn't go. It didn't hit. So unfortunately, it's a ripper. So now, guys, if you want to do something sketchy, okay, this is your first area that you can watch. So you can look at it like this. Okay, range high there, previous range low. Okay, are we moving back into the range? Are we just going to float around here and then start pushing up? If you think that is on the table there for you guys, what you can use is 1.22 as your support. 1.22 as your degen support level. That's a high risk stuff. 1.22. Alternatively, I like 1.135. That type of region there makes a lot of sense to me. And then I've got my big zone for Fartcoin at this region here, 99 down to say 94. Anywhere in that zone. That's a pretty high conviction long zone there for me on Fartcoin, and it most likely comes after a monster dump in the market. Okay, so monster dump should give you this 95 region there for Fartcoin. Medium size sell off 1.135. Still looking for that. And I believe we'll get a decent divergence print and things like that as well if we start dropping lower. So we just got to be patient now. Okay, so right now I wouldn't chase too hard on these altcoins. After that that extreme volatility there. Okay, Dave, thank you, bro. I'll see you in Hackers in 30 minutes time. We're going to do our session. Thank you, sir. James, thank you for hanging, sir. See you later. Okay, guys, so that was pretty wild what we've just seen. I'm going to do a BTC update for you now in a sec. I think overall our sentiment is what we would like personally, a sell-off now into Asia. Maybe they're already front-running that now with this massive dump, but we'd love to see a bit of a red Monday to give us some entries for a nice bullish week ahead. Remember, we get a little bit concerned if we have a super bullish Monday, then we tend to have a sell-off during the week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday gets a bit messy out there. So I'd like to get that sell-off done. I'd love to see these altcoins hit those big zones that I've showed you, the ones that we didn't hit on Saturday. I just want to get into those areas. If we can hit that, I think we're going to be cooking for the rest of the week. Obviously, guys, I cover this Monday to Friday on Banter Plus. You can join me there. Make sure you are following on that channel, and update all of those things, and we take the trades and we do all that shit. Okay, guys, take it easy. Good hanging with you guys on the main channel for a change. Nice to see you. We'll catch you guys later.